At ease, brothers. I was sitting here, man, at 0 dark 30, thinking about the game of life, brothers. And what I was thinking about is how some people's lives are on a loop and they don't understand why it's on a loop. You know what I'm saying? In other words, like I'm always talking about, all relationships end the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like my money was just high. Now it's back at where it was, whether it's a week, whether it's a month, whether it's a year. Like my money always ends up at the same spot. I gain 10 pounds, I lose 10 pounds. I gain 10 pounds, I lose 10 pounds. Like a lot of people's lives are just a huge deja vu, man. And they don't really understand why it's doing that. They don't understand why their life is on a loop. And I'm gonna tell you, brothers, the reason a person's life is on a loop is because they're getting emotionally engaged in their own creation. They're getting emotionally engaged in the illusion. They're getting emotionally engaged in the replay of life. And if you understand the way this thing works, man, you can really see the danger in that. You can see the danger of a man getting emotionally engaged in the world he created. Like a man really has no choice but to keep seeing the same scenarios. It might be a day, it might be a week, it might be a year. But at some point in time, if he's waking up every day and he's putting his God essence into what he can see in this third dimensional plane, it's just a matter of time before all scenarios just make their way back around. Every single scenario just makes this way. The money, the women, everything, the health, it's coming right back to you. It has to. Understanding how the game of life works, it has to come see you, man. If you're getting emotionally engaged, think about that, bro. Look at it like this. Think about this. Let's say you wake up one morning and you decorate for Halloween, right? Let's say you wake up one morning, man, and you go in the living room, you hanging up the scarecrows and the Frankensteins and the witches, and you got the smoke going, you got the music in the background, you got the dark lights, you cutting up the jack-o'-lantern, the whole shebang, right? And you sit back in the evening, man, you've been working all day on this, and you say, you know what? I did a good job, man. Like the kids are going to love this, right? And then you go to bed, wake up the next morning, walk in your living room and freak out. Feel like you're under spiritual attack. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing the goons and the goblins and you're afraid. You're getting emotionally engaged off of your own creation. Like you have to see the danger of that. Because what people are doing, man, people are creating their world with their own truth, right? Going to sleep every single night, waking up every single morning, and getting engaged emotionally with their own Halloween. You have to understand, man, you have no choice but to keep seeing that. You have no choice but to keep seeing it. To not see that every week, month, or year would violate law, would violate creation. You know what I'm saying? It will violate the whole shebang. So people are getting emotionally involved in their own creation, man, in the afterthought, in the illusion. So what is it we should be getting emotionally engaged with, soul? We should be putting our essence, man, back into the place where essence comes from. We should be putting our essence into the only thing that is real. Because these things we talk about, the Halloween that we created is not real. It's not real. It's an illusion. It's matter. It's lifeless. So we're supposed to put our essence back into what's real to get back what we really desire. And when I say the only thing that's real, I'm simply talking about source energy. I'm simply talking about God. What makes God real, soul? You have to understand that the only thing that we can consider real are the things that don't vibrate. The things that don't respond to the pendulum or that aren't created by the pendulum. And source energy is the only thing that's real. You know what I'm saying? So that imagination, that vision we talk about, that's where your emotional energy goes into. That's what you respond energetically to. I'm gonna read the Kabbalion, brothers. Make a little sense of this thing, man. And the Kabbalion says this: we see around us that which we call matter, which forms the physical foundation for all forms. Is the all merely matter? Referring to God? Not at all. Matter cannot manifest life or mind. Matter cannot manifest life or mind. So if we wake up every single day and put our emotional energy into something that can't give back, that has no life or creative power, then really all we're doing is being made in the image of God. All we're doing is creating loops, because what we're putting our energy to can't give back. It can't expand us. All we can see in life is what we're putting that energy into. That's all we can ever see, because we're putting our emotional energy into something that's lifeless. That's lifeless, man. All right, the next part, it says this, brothers. Then it shifts up a little bit. We're talking about matter. It says modern science informs us that there is really no such thing as matter. Like, this whole thing we're talking about is not even real. Modern science informs us that there is really no such thing as matter. That what we call matter is merely interrupted energy or force. That what we call matter is simply interrupted energy or force. Which means when you take your emotional energy and put it into that God essence, that's what's creating everything. That's what's creating your scenarios, by putting that emotional energy and interrupting that God energy, creating. That's creation. You know what I'm saying? So it comes down to this. This is what it comes down to. It's not only just about understanding how things work. It's really about understanding. It's really about understanding what you're interrupting that force with. What thoughts are you interrupting that force with? Again, going back to, if you wake up every day and you see your Halloween and the essence you pour out is based on that, you're going to see a loop. You're going to see a loop every time. But if you're pouring your emotional energy into that vision we always talk about, that end outcome, if you're pouring your essence, your God power into that, that's how you bring that about. That's how you bring that about. So what I'm ultimately saying is this, brothers, that emotional energy, in other words, when I say responding to our Halloween, what I'm really saying is don't wake up and look at that bank account and engage with that. You got to understand that you have to understand this. Everything you see in your reality is really buffered. It's really a delay in what your truth is. Yeah, it's your truth, but you have to understand that when you see an outcome that you don't like and you change your truth by creating a different vision, by creating a different avatar and putting emotional energy into that, at that point, man, you have to understand that when you wake up, what you see, the Halloween you created, you have to really understand it's not real. Like, I understand, man. I see what the scale says, but I can't emotionally engage with that, because if I emotionally engage with what that scale is showing me today, the day after I change my new identity, if I'm putting my emotional energy into that, my thoughts, my actions, and my beliefs are going to be based on that. Which means if I see that, 200, 300 plus pounds on there and engage with that, now by default, I'm going to go down to the chicken house. I'm going to go down to the donut house. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm putting my creative energy in that thing right there. Instead of this vision like we're always talking about, man. Don't engage in the creation, bro. Understand that it's a replay. Don't engage on the bills being late. Don't engage on the money being low. If it's low, engage with that higher thought. Engage with what is only real. So to be honest, man, it's all about when you find yourself on a loop, man, it's all about understanding what's really taking place. And what's really taking place, man, is that nothing really matters. Nothing really matters. Like when I say nothing really matters, all I'm saying is, man, like the illusion is just the illusion. Nothing really matters. Like whatever this world is doing, whether I like it or whether I don't like it, it don't really matter. Like I can't put my God essence into it. Whether times are hard or whether times are grand. I just got the new crib. I just got the new whip. I just got the new lady. It really doesn't matter. It's still not real. It's just the game. It's just the game. It's not all about focusing on bad. Even the good. It doesn't really matter. Because if you're putting your emotional energy even in the good times, you know what I'm saying? It still doesn't matter. It's still going to put your life on a loop. It's still going to take you away from that state of expansion. It's still going to rob you of the image. So just look at the life. When I say nothing really matters, I'm really just saying play the game, but understand it's the game. Understand it's the game. I'll go up there and fire up the PS5 with my son, man, and we'll play games and we'll talk noise. But when we set those controllers down and cut it off, we say, you know what? Like that's just a game. Like I might have beat you in Madden, you might have beat me in Call of Duty, but I'm not finna conduct myself and be angry with you as if that's real. Because at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. That's not a real thing. It's just the game. It's just the game. For me to emotionally involve myself with the game is going to put me on a dangerous loop, bro. It's going to put me on a dangerous loop, man.